ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां दयाकरं दयाकारं दान्तं धर्मप्रवर्तकं प्रणमामि दयानन्दं मदाचार्यवरं परम्। सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। We saw 47, correct? Yeah. Yes? No? Okay. Yeah. Jivan muktastu tadvidvan purvopadhi gunans tyajet सच्चिदानन्दरूपत्वात् भवेद् भ्रमरकीटवत्। जीवन्मुक्तस्तु तद्विद्वान् पूर्वोपाधिगुणांस्त्यजेत् सच्चिदानन्दरूपत्वात् भवेद् भ्रमरकीटवत्. Okay. So now the Lakshana of the Jnani is starting on verse 48 and will go on for some time, and because what else is there to talk about? Everything else has already been said. So Jivan Muktaha is, who is the Jivan Mukta? Jivan San Muktaha means the one who is free while living. This is important because if redemption comes after death, then what's the use? Right? What's the use? No use. So it is Jivan Mukti. And also then also it's no use. If redemption comes after death, it's of no use to me now. It's like saying, somebody saying, I'm hungry. And then the other person said, in heaven there is plenty of food. Yeah. What is the use? When is the problem? Now. So what is the use of saying, in heaven there is plenty of food? Lots of food is there, Chappan Bhog is there, 56 varieties of things are there, please go to heaven. They will send you to heaven if you tell like that. They'll get angry. And so therefore what? This is, the problem is imminent, now. And the solution should be there now. And so another thing about the word Jivan Mukta means the Mukti, when it happens, you don't get mukti from the body. Already Vedanta not very popular, and then the person, as soon as they get enlightened, I saw it, I am Brahman, finished. Chale gaya. Then there are two big problems. What is the first big problem? No one, Vedanta will become a death sentence. Correct? Yeah. No one will come. OMG, this will lead directly to death, even accidentally, if I know I am Brahman. In the class, Brahmakara Vritti is created, mass death. Everybody dies. No, this is no fun. And then the second and the more important problem for us is that, see, the individual one or two jnanis, fadar, they go away, no problem. But what does it mean? As soon as you understand you are Brahman, the person goes means who is there to teach? First we saw nobody will be there to learn. Okay? Who will be there to teach? Huh? Jnani or Ajnani? Ajnani. Yeah. From Ajnani, when you learn, what will happen? Oh, at least my life will be spared. Yeah, that's all. Small mercies you have to look at. So therefore, we have the understanding of Jivan Mukti, free while living. The problem is not after death. After death, there is no problem. Who knows if there is a problem? Who remembers? Who knows? All this is based on non-verifiable beliefs. That I will survive death. Is it a verifiable belief? No. That once I survive death, I will be traveling. I will be a traveling jiva. Is that a verifiable belief? No. That I will go to various lokas, and some lokas I will like staying in. Is that a verifiable belief? No. All of them, and that I will come back. That also is not a verifiable belief. But what is verifiable belief? I am here now. Is that a verifiable belief? Yes. I am here now. It's verifiable, self-evident, verifiable, self-verified belief. Not even a belief, self-verified fact. And for this self-verified fact, this one who is here now, living in this body-mind complex, is free of the body-mind-sense complex, is free of all complexes, is free of the Jagat, is free of being affected by all kinds of things which everybody in the world is affected by. This is Jivan Mukti. And this is gained after some time. That's how we have to wait till the 48th verse here also to hear the word Jivan Mukti. So Jivan Muktaha, the one who has Jivan Mukti is called Jivan Muktaha. And who is this person? Vidwan, the knowledgeable one. Oh, they know all the Shastras. They need not know all the Shastras, as we have seen in the, as I have told you, the example in the 7th chapter of the Chandogya Upanishad. Narada knows all the Shastras, but he doesn't know himself. And Sanat Kumara, the teacher, says what? Narada, you know a lot of nothing. What's the use of knowing a lot of nothing? It's the same as knowing a little bit of nothing. Okay? Because the end result is what? Nothing. So that thing which makes the nothing into something is Bhuma Vidya, Brahma Vidya, knowledge of the I. So the I alone, when it is known, all other things have meaning. Why? Because there is no other thing without the I. We saw this in the last verse also. Everything is Nama Matram, name and form, word and meaning. The whole world is a string of word and meanings intelligently strung together like a beautiful necklace of the rarest of gems. You can imagine pearls, rubies, gold beads, silver beads, and all other precious metals, so emeralds, everything. Beautifully strung together. Only problem is what? I don't see the string. And if I don't see the string, I ooh and ah over the necklace without understanding that what is holding together is string. String is not seen, and when the string is not seen, the person gets strung out because of stress. This is what happens. The string has to be known first as Ishvara, and Ishvara Srishti, Allah Maya. Ishvara is Maya Shakti, Maya Shaktya Saha. So this Ishvara has to be understood as the string. This is talked about in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita also. Sutre Maniganaha Iva. I am that which strings everything together as the string does a beautiful necklace of gems. So this Jagat is a necklace of gems and everything is wonderfully strung together. And then first level of understanding, what is the string? Bhagavan. Second level of understanding, what is the string? Me. Because I am revealed as what in the Shastra? Non-separate from Bhagavan. The wave is revealed to be identical with the ocean, not with the water. Yeah. If the wave knows it is water, it is just Tvam Pada Vichara. It's the analysis of Tvam. Like, okay, the waveness is taken away cognitively and the wave is made to understand you are water. This doesn't do much. Okay, big deal, I am water. Now I feel wet. Okay, what do I do? I am depressed. This understanding has to be taken a step further. The wave is likened in the Shastra, as it were, to the ocean. Because that's where the smallness is. Ocean so big, I am small. I am a nobody, the wave thinks. And you should hear Pujya Swamiji talk about the wave and the ocean. It's just amazing. I don't know if it will come in this series that you are watching. I have forgotten. But he just mimics being a small wave. He will mimic. He will say, oh, I am a chota wave. I can't even wave. I am so weak. You should have seen my bio, my CV. I had 25 villages for breakfast. Just 3 years ago, I was a breaker. I was a surf. I was part of the huge floods. And in 2004, I was this big tsunami that hit everywhere. I had 500,000 villages for lunch. No problem, look at me now, so sad. And then a small cheerful wave will come, and the cheerful wave will wave to this sad, depressed wave, wet wave. Look, why are you so sad? Why are you so happy? I asked the question first, says the chota small wave. I asked the question first, so you get to answer me first. This question who asked? I asked. So you have to answer me first. What to tell you? I had such a wonderful history. I was the fastest wave on this side of the ocean. All the surfing people loved me. They used to ride on me. And I used to come in all the papers. When the surfer was photographed, where was he photographed? On top of me, the wave. I was holding up everybody. And now look at me. And the chota wave says, you know, you are not a wave at all. What? You are the ocean. No. No. Don't say that. No. Ocean is all. What am I? Small. Ocean is the cause. I am because. Ocean is God. I am odd. No. How can I be the ocean? Then when the sad wave asks this question, the small wave says, what are you made up of? Tvam pada vichara. They say, I am made up of water. What is the ocean made up of? Tat pada vichara. Ishvaratvam is also analyzed. Ishvara-ness is analyzed. This is how the Mahavakya works. Ishvara-ness is analyzed. Jiva-ness is analyzed. So, this is how the Mahavakya works. And then when the Ishvara-ness is analyzed, everything that comes and goes is removed. Removed means not taken into account. Srishti comes and goes? Yes. All power comes and goes? Yes. All might comes and goes? Yes. 6 bhagas comes and goes? Yes. All that is removed. What is there? Don't say water. That would be a wrong thing to say. Okay, yeah. Brahman, consciousness. Consciousness is what is remaining. And this side, when the wave is told water, what is the upalakshana here? When the jiva is told, you are consciousness, tvam pada vichara. When Ishvara is analyzed to be nothing but consciousness, then you have the oneness. At that level, you have oneness. You have oneness at the level of Swarupa Lakshana. The Swarupa Lakshana is finally brought in. The Swarupa Lakshana is brought in to rid the jiva of jivatvam, and then it is brought in again to rid the Ishvara of Ishvaratvam, Ishvara-ness, Ishvara-hood. And then what is there? Both are nothing but consciousness. But straight away if you say to the ocean, you are just water, no Atmajnanam takes place. Similarly, if you say to the jaded, faded jiva, you are consciousness. I wish I were not consciousness. That's why. That's what the person is going to say. Because of being this consciousness, I am a sad, miserable individual. This is the problem. This is exactly the problem. And so therefore, this has to be properly understood. Okay? And so here, this is what is Jivan Mukti, the one who has sublated Swarupa, after knowing the Tatastha Lakshana, after appreciating the Tatastha Lakshana of Brahman and the Swarupa Lakshana, both understands oneself to be separate from that Ishvara. Otherwise what happens? I am small, the feeling will not go, because you are in the presence of Ishvara, the Jagat Karta, Jagat Dharta, Jagat Samharta, the one who issues forth the Jagat, one who takes care of the Jagat, one who takes back the Jagat, that one only will be there and you will be left powerless. Ishvara is the overlord, I am lorded over. There is only one difference between me and Ishvara. Ishvara is overlord, what am I? Lorded over. Just to listing the sentences, even in Sanskritam, there is a saying like that. Aham cha tvam cha Rajendra Lokanatha Ubhavapi. Oh, you and me, both of us are what? Lokanatha. Lokanatha means what? Lord of the world. And the second line says, there is a small difference, however. What is the difference? Shashti tat purusho bhavan. You are the, how do you resolve the samasa? The compound called Lokanatha. Lokasya Natha. That is you, O Lord. What am I? Bahuvrihi ahamasmi shashti tat purusho bhavan. Bahuvrihi means it is a compound that describes the person. So, first is Lokasya Natha, that is obviously Ishvara, and then the one who is lorded over by the world. Every passing mosquito gets the fellow. Every single virus puts the person down flat. That's the different kind of compound. So, like this, the person who is feeling lorded over has to be shown that you are one and the same as the overlord. This is the this is exactly the first line here, Jivan Muktaha, the one who knows, I am no longer lorded over. Then what happens? Purva Upadhi Gunan Tyajet. Purva Upadhi. Purva Upadhi means the Upadhi that was there before the knowledge. Oh, you mean to say after the knowledge I get a new body? That would be nice. No, you will get the same body. That's why it's called Purva Upadhi. Body doesn't change. Mind has already transformed. That's why there is this thing. Body doesn't change. Any dharma of the body also doesn't change. What about my problems in my life? Will they go away after Vedanta? No. Yeah. Oh, you are waiting to tell me in the last days. Not fair. I would have not signed up. I would have left long ago. What are you doing to me? Problems won't change. Then why should I study? You become bigger than your problems. The problems become small children that can be easily handled. Like that sage who was the wife of another sage. I'm really terrible at the characters and Puranic stories, but you should just take the the spirit of the story. So the sage goes away somewhere, and this lady is in the house. And then Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara say that you have to feed us without your clothes on, because for some reason, I don't know, I don't remember, doesn't matter. Huh? Anusuya I know, but why did she have to take off her clothes to feed these fellows? I don't know. But anyhow, she has to prove what? So Pativrata, why should she prove by taking off her clothes? It's the opposite effect. Makes no sense. But doesn't matter. Whatever the reason, let us move on. Okay? So, you don't show that you love your husband by taking off the clothes in front of other strangers. That makes no sense. So, these three come. For some reason, she has to take off her clothes. And then what does she do? She has just finished puja. She has that holy water there, tirtham. She sprinkles on all these three, Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshwara. Suddenly a crying noise is heard. All of them are tiny, 2-month-old babies wailing. Happily she takes off her clothes, puts them to her breast, feeds them, burps them and puts them out of the house just in time for the curse to wear off, the mantra to wear off. And these are all metaphorical. We have to see the spirit of this. That's why I say the details don't matter. Who, why, otherwise we get lost in the details. But this I like. She was very unperturbed. She said, okay, no problem. Come along, babies, because why you are behaving like a baby? By doing all these things, better become babies. And then, of course, the story was their consorts came. Lakshmi, Saraswati and Parvati goddesses, they came and they were so frightened to find their husbands into children. And anyhow, then the mantra wore off, or she lifted the curse and everything was fine. So, but the point is this, that if you know Vedanta, you can make even the biggest problem into a small baby. Yeah. You make the problem infantile. And it's very easy to, even the crankiest baby, you put it on the shoulder, go 3-4 times, finished. It is disarmed. Very easy to disarm a baby. So, Jivan Mukti does not make the problems go away. What will it do? Takes the teeth off the problems. It's like putting your hand into a small baby's mouth without teeth. When it bites the gums together, it's not a very unpleasant situation, but it doesn't bite, there is no teeth to it. It takes the teeth away from the problem. Why? Because you have understood that I am bigger than this problem. Not only that, you have mithyafied this problem. You have delegated this problem to the level of mithya, just like Mirabai when she went to her guru. She went for what? Swimming lessons. How to stay afloat in the ocean of samsara. Should I do front stroke? Should I do back stroke? Should I do butterfly stroke? How, what? Oh Guru, please teach me some swimming lessons. And then the teacher did not teach her how to swim. Why? There is no ocean. It is just an ocean. You don't need to learn how to swim. Bhavasagar sab sukh gaya hai. The whole ocean of bhava, becoming the ocean of samsara, the Guru dried up. After the Upadesha, she looked around, there is no water. And all the things that depend on the water, sharks, alligator, all biting things. Alligators, sharks, scorpions, seaweed that entangles, whirlpool, big wave, small wave, all of them gone. Because water gone, ocean gone, and then everything that depends on the ocean, all these terrible things, all of them gone. Fikar nahi mohe taranan ki. Meera ke Prabhu giridhar nagar ulat bhai more nayanan ki. How did this happen? My vision was revolutionized from being a vision of division to being a vision of no division. When the vision of no division is there, then all these things do not matter at all. Somebody crying somewhere, something happening, or something not going my way, it's okay. It's all right. I'm bigger than that. I'm bigger than my ragadveshas. I'm bigger than my personality. I'm bigger than my kama krodha. I'm bigger than my reactivity. I'm bigger than my sorrow. I'm even bigger than tomorrow, because there is no time for me. I am the truth of space and time. This is how one does nididhyasana. Don't think I don't know Sanskrit, so I can't do nididhyasana. Nice excuse, but it will not hold, because you can do English nididhyasana. Easily. You can do English nididhyasana. You can do Hindi nididhyasana, whatever your mother tongue is. Malayali nididhyasana you can do. Mother tongue nididhyasana you do, it is much more effective. Because it's mother tongue, it's close to you. So you can't say, oh, I don't know the Upanishad, didn't bother to study, didn't bother to memorize, so how will I do nididhyasana? Better be in samsara. No. Not allowed. Absolutely not allowed. After studying Vedanta, it is illegal not to do nididhyasana. Yes. Oh, what will happen if I don't do? Will I go to jail? I don't need to send you to jail, because you are already in jail. Already in jail. Nobody, no guru, no teacher, no text needs to put a punishment. Oh, didn't do Shravanam, didn't do Mananam, didn't do Nididhyasana, go to jail. Already in jail. Where the bars are of one's own making. One has crafted the bars, polished them nicely. Why do you care if the bars are, oh no, I should look good, no, behind the bars. That's why the bars are polished nicely. How long have you been polishing these bars? Several lifetimes. No. And so, therefore, the word Jivan Mukta is very, very, very precious to us. We have to understand what this means. And we have to understand, we get glimpses of it. Everybody has a glimpse of what it is like to Just wake up and not be bogged down by problems, the everyday problems, body problems, mind problems, can't concentrate, can't focus, emotional problems. And sometimes the emotional problems make you think you have body problems because they are all connected. And then very soon you can convince yourself you have a fever. Oh, suddenly warm, I feel really warm. I must have this disease. Then you look up Google and then you convince yourself, I have all the symptoms of at least 3 diseases. This is called psychosomatic problems. And then Vedanta removes this psychosomatic, because Vedanta takes care of the mind. Vedanta and Sanskrit. Sanskrit makes the mind very strong. Nobody can win an argument with you if you study Sanskrit very well. So even if you are not interested in Vedanta, do not give up Sanskrit, because you will be victorious in every argument, even if you have not studied law. Okay? And Vedanta makes the whole person sane. The person becomes a refuge of sanity for others. This is a real thing. Jivan Mukta is not in the books of the Atmabodha and other Upanishads. No, this is just for the books, this is not for me. No, it is for you. In fact, it's the only thing in Vedanta to know. Then why do we study all Shama, Dama, Uparati? Because without that, this is not known. That has to be, that gives the readiness to value this, because otherwise this Jivan Mukti is not even valued. People will say, I want to be born again, I want to enjoy whatever there is in samsara. And so to value Jivan Mukti also, you need certain mindset, like to enjoy classical music, whether it's Western classical or Indian classical, doesn't matter. There is some beauty about it. But it is not for everybody. For the mind that is restless, if you put classical music, lullaby, it will become a lullaby, they will not be able to enjoy that. But what will they be able to enjoy? Some huge thing where everything should be all the time, because it matches what is inside. It's a concert where there is no sitting room. Why? Because nobody needs to sit down. You are sweating it out. And you take off your t-shirt, throw it, and then all these things you do. Yeah. God only knows what all happens there. But these are everybody. 10,000 people in one venue, jumping up and down constantly for 2-3 hours. And then you just go home and say, ha ha, and then just go crash. This is for such a person, you have to train the mind. If that person has to train the mind to appreciate the finer aspects of life, to appreciate Goddess Saraswati in the form of bhajans, kirtans, classical music, to appreciate painting of the classical painters, Van Gogh and Monet, all these things. You have to have that eye for it. For to have the eye and the ear for this kind of finer things of life, a certain transformation has to take place. Similarly, to have an eye out for this Jivan Mukti and to enjoy and even to want this Jivan Mukti, certain transformation has already to take place. That's why the description of Jivan Mukti comes towards the 2/3 of the text, always. Because the text takes you through all the things. What is the problem? What has to happen? Where is the problem? The problem is centered on I, not the Jagat, even though I want to keep blaming the Jagat. The problem is centered where? Right here. Problem is centered on I. If the problem is centered on I, where is the solution? Centered on I. So, therefore, I can't look around. The finger that is moving, blaming everything, blaming the stars. Finally, my horoscope is bad. Finally, I have to come home. And then where? Point means not blame. There is no self-blame. You can't blame yourself for being a samsari. You can't blame yourself for being ignorant. But you understand that the ignorance resides in the heart of the one who is asking the question, who am I? Why am I in this state? And that ignorance has to be removed. That ignorance has to be taken care of through the exposition of the Shastra, through committed exposure to Shastra, and then only one finds what one is looking for. And that Jivan Mukti that one is looking for is just becomes something which is very covetable, which is very delightful. And that Jivan Mukti alone, I want and I want to be. The desire for it is created, and then that makes the adherence to Vedanta even more pakka, and then the Jivan Mukti becomes a reality like it has for all the gurus in the parampara. So then the person is Vidwan because he or she knows Brahman, and by knowing Brahman, you know everything. You are an all-knower. We already derived that fully. So, Purva Upadhi Gunans Tyajet. May one let go of the previous Upadhi. It's not like a snake shedding the skin. Same body you will have. You will not also have an out-of-body experience. No. Same body, same thing, everything will be the same. The only thing that is different is that you don't consider this body to be all powerful over you. You don't consider this body to overpower you. You don't consider this mind, whatever changes are taking place in the mind are just like the weather. 1 minute sunny, 1 minute cloudy, 1 minute raining. This is all it is. You don't take all this seriously at all. What do? You just be with yourself, because all this doesn't matter, because it is badhita, sublated. Tyajet means you don't literally come out of the skin like a snake. No. The sloughing off is cognitive. The old skin along with the old problems, along with the old mind, the old ways of looking at things, and all the upadhis. Body is a upadhi, yes, mind is a upadhi, senses are upadhi, all the notions are upadhi, like we discussed yesterday. I am so and so, I am not so and so, I am this much only, I am that much, all are upadhis. Tyajet. Then finally what tyajet? Finally, I have given up all this. That notion also api tyajet. Yena tyajasi tat tyaja. Give up the giver-upper. It's not enough to say I have given up the bank account, I have given up my occupation, I have given up my calling, I have given up my job, I have given up my house, I have given up my spouse. When are you going to give up? That by which you have given up everything else. That is what the ahankara is surrendered at the altar of that which is Brahman. And the ahankara, this is like a child that will not leave the toy shop, toddler, 2-year-old. And mother says, you can have one thing. Yeah. And the child, no, I want all the things. I want all the things. Come out, it's time to go. We have already bought 2 toys for you. Come on. No. So the parents are ready to drag the child out. The child has held on to something in the toy shop, a shelf, and is not ready to be peeled. So the ahankara is like that. In the world of anatma, it is completely enmeshed, identified with. This is mine, this needs to become mine. The whole world is divided into 2. Mine, not yet mine. This is how the Rakshasa sees the world. This is how the Ajnani, the Samsari also sees the world. All on a continuum. And then the person, the child is just how hard it is to pry the child away from the toys and then take it out of the shop. Similarly, it is for the Guru. The Shastra also works very hard. The Upanishad, which is the Guru, and the Guru also who is unfolding the Upanishad. They have to work very hard to pry this ahankara from constantly hugging the anatma. No, I want this, I want this, I want this. And the Upanishad says you can have only one thing. And what should you choose? Brahman. Shreyas. Shreyas should be chosen. Why? Because in the absence of Shreyas, what is the default choice? Pray for us. That is the default choice. That's the default choice. There's nothing else there. And so therefore, when you say you can have only one thing, only choose that one thing because of which everything else is. And for that, Viveka Vairagya is needed. And then this is a reminder here. Of course, the person has disidentified, the Jivan Mukta has already disidentified with the body, mind, sense complex. But what is the reminder here? May there not be Viparita Bhavana, habitual orientations. Oh, something, this is how I used to be before. All that may not be there. That also is taken care of. Why? How it is taken care of, a very interesting and not a very authentic example is given. Bhavet Satchidananda Rupatvat. So Satchidananda Rupatvat means because of the identification with Satchidananda. You cannot let go, the ahankara will not let go of the previous body, mind, sense complex identification unless it is walked over to Satchidananda. That is what Mahavakya does. Walks over this stubborn ahankara who is holding on to anatma and then identifies it with the atma. Here, meet yourself, greet yourself. This is you, not all these things that you thought yourself to be. Greet yourself. So, that is because you are Satchidananda Swarupa, Swarupa Lakshana, I told you already, because of this Swarupa. And the example that is given is Brahmara Kitavat. This is just a visual example, it's not authentic, it's not really what happens. Visually what happens, the wasp is making a nest. And the wasp is making a nest, and it appears to take a wriggling small worm, and the nest of the wasp is just got a like made of mud and clay, and it's got a small little opening, and it seems to keep pecking at this worm to push it through the opening. And that worm is terrified because it's just not dying and it's keeping on being stung by the wasp to push it through the opening. Then suddenly what do we see? A baby wasp comes out. Okay? And so, when you look at it like this, what do you think? The people in the past thought that the worm turns into a wasp, somehow miraculously. So what was a worm before? Being pecked by the wasp constantly, what happens to the worm? It turns into a wasp. I think what the wasp is trying to do is close that, so that they close that hole or pack that hole with this worm. That's all it's doing, so that the eggs are safe. But then what does it look like? It is constantly pecking at the worm, and the worm keeps looking at the wasp. That is its the terrifying wasp it looks at, that is its last darshana. It dies to the worm nest and is awakened to is born again, so to speak, in the form, is transformed into the form of the wasp. So Brahmara, wasp, Kita, worm. So Kita is what? Jiva. Brahmara sounds like Brahman. Okay? So Brahman. Brahmara is Brahman. Kita is the Jiva. Why is the Kita Jiva? lowly. I cannot find anything more lowly than a small worm crawling like this. What can be more lowly? Any foot can come and give moksha in any second. So what can be more lowly than a worm? Lowly means it's even, we can't fly, can't walk, just crawls along, and most people step on it. That is how poor thing meets the death. And so this worm is Jiva, and from the standpoint of this worm, the Ishvara, the wasp, is all powerful. All powerful. Brahman is all powerful. Here Brahman is, here the wasp is three things in one. Wasp is Brahman, wasp is Shastra, wasp is Guru. All three you have to take. And then it keeps stinging at this worm, meaning it's giving it the Mahavakya, it is infusing it with Mahavakya. It's giving a Mahavakya injection to the worm like Jiva. So the Upanishad is giving, Upanishad, Guru, Shastra, all three you have to take together. So this Upanishad is giving the Jiva injections of the Mahavakya. So one injection not enough. Jivatvam comes back with a vengeance. Second injection also not much effective. So then it's a course. 3 years of injections. Medically established course. Okay. So 3 years of constant injections, inject karke, repeatedly, same Mahavakya. And why is it called injection? Because for the worm, from the standpoint, it is very unpleasant. So for this lowly Jiva, who thinks I am lowly, to have the grandeur of Brahman presented as yourself is not very pleasant at first. It may sound pleasant. Yes, I'd like to get this knowledge, but it is not at all pleasant at first. Because what's happening outside? Ooh, what's there? Let me go here, let me go there. New experience, new restaurant opened up in Rishikesh. I got a flyer. People will say that. Yeah. And then what else? New ashram. Ooh, let's see what they do there. And they will have a board. Instant moksha. Like instant dosa. You can get a dosa mix, everything. All you have to do is add water and then pour it on the griddle, like that. So, instant moksha, new ashram, very nice building, everything. And then every room has AC. Ye sab batana hai, okay? You have to make this new ashram look very nice. Every room has AC, even in the winter you can enjoy AC. And then every room has all kinds of things. And what? You don't have to study. You go there. Yeah, that's the best part. You don't have to study. You don't have to worry how to memorize this. Yeah, how to understand this. How to not forget the 4 verses I learnt yesterday. You don't have to worry about it at all. And so, therefore what? It sounds very good. And even though every reason and all the purva punya, previous punya that you have brought with you tells you this is a hoax. If it is too good to be true, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true. Idhar nahi jana, don't go there. The reason is telling you. And the study of Vedanta we have done so far, this Jnana Prasada is also telling you, but some habitual orientation can drag over there. That's why repeated injections, Tattvamasi, 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 Aham Brahmasmi, Prajnanam Brahma, Ayam Atma Brahma, Etad Vaitat, all this, Satyam Jnanam Anantam, repeated injections. And after a while, what happens? Kita gives up. Yeah. Kita gives up, Ahankara dies to its smallness. and is reborn as the teacher it adored. This is very beautiful. Yeah, this is the only place. This is, there is one text called Shatashloki. 100 verses on Vedanta, also attributed to Adi Shankara, but it is not Adi Shankara's work, but still some verses are very good. And the first verse says, O Guru, shall I compare thee to a philosopher's stone? What is a philosopher's stone? That anything it touches turns into gold. The alchemists, whether in the east or the west, in the medieval ages, they were obsessed with turning things into gold. Midas touch. You touch it and it turns into gold. So this writer, in the Guru Stuti, in the first stanza of the Shatashloki says, shall I compare thee, O Guru, to a philosopher's stone? And then cuts out that and edits himself in the second line. He says, no. That is too far lowly a comparison for someone as exalted as you. Why? Because a philosopher's stone, whatever it touches, turns into gold, all right. But the philosopher's stone cannot make another philosopher's stone. See how beautiful. But what does the Guru do? Make another person into himself, herself. Brahmara Kitavat. You have to take that into account. You have to take that into account to enjoy this verse. So don't worry about how authentic the example is. Again, like the stories and the examples, we take the spirit of the example and revel in that. That is when the study of Vedanta is becoming fruitful. I am non-separate from the Guru that I adore. This is what makes this worthwhile. If the Guru were to remain Guru, if God were to remain God, and I am remaining odd, what is the use? What is the use, tell me? Before also I was crying, now also I am crying. No use at all. And this is what even in the Dakshinamurti Stotram, that is there. Shishyacharya tatha tathaiva pitruputradhyatmana bhedatah. The whole Jagat is seen as separate. This is Acharya. I am Shishya. I am student. This is teacher. I am child. This is mother. This is father. All these hierarchies. The world is full of hierarchies. But the last frontier of duality is Shishya and Acharya. That's the last frontier of duality. Yes, one goes reverentially to the Guru, one begs for this knowledge, one adores the teacher, one respects the teacher. All this is there. Even after the knowledge, you have to respect the teacher. Why? Because Vyavahara. You don't say, yo Guru, let's go have coffee. You don't do that after the knowledge. Achara is the same. Conduct is there. But inside, what do I know? I am non-separate from you. But as long as the body is there, one is still a jnani bhakta. That is how it is. So here also the student knows, the student worm, the worm-like student, feeling lowly, full of complexes, being lagatar, repeatedly being pricked by the Mahavakya, now has given up all the defenses, all the offenses, and has become one with the teacher and the teaching. Next one. Bahyanitya sukha saktim. Oh, I skipped the verse. Sorry. Yeah. I just don't know. Like when I look at the thing up, naturally the eyes go down. Okay. Tirtva moharnavam hatva. Ragadveshadi rakshasan. Yogi shanta samayuktah. Atma Ramo Virajate. Tirtvam Harnavam Hatva Ragadveshadirakṣasan Yogi Shanti Samayuktah Atma Ramo Virajate. Yeah, let's look at the translation, then we'll see this in detail. Tirtva, having crossed. What? Moha Arnavam. Mohasya Arnavam. Arnava, ocean. Moha, knowledge, correct? No, yeah, wake up, yeah. Delusion. Having crossed over the ocean of delusion. Hatva, having killed off. What? Rakshasas. Hatva, having killed off the Rakshasas, known as what? Ragasura, Dveshasura. Yes, all the Rakshasas have only one surname. What is that? Asura. Yes. Have you ever thought about that? It's very interesting. Yeah. Because all of them behave alike. Asura. Ragasura plus Dveshasura. So these are the original Rakshasas. All the other Rakshasas, Kamasura, Krodhasura, Mohasura, Lobhasura, Matsaryasura are all children of these two parents, Ragasura and Dveshasura. They are the original parents of all the other Asuras. And where are these Asuras? Yeah, right in the heart of the person asking the question. Hatva, just killing them off. Hatva, Ragadvesha, Rakshasan, Asuran. Then who is now, after doing these two things, after crossing the ocean of delusion, killing off Ragadvesha, who have you become? Yogi, Jnani. And then Yogi has only one thing with her or him. What is that? Shantihi. The peace that passes understanding. It's not relative Shanti that has been gained by the departure of something I don't like the in-laws. In-laws came for a visit and now they are gone. Aha, Shanti. No, not like that. Some terrible thing was happening, now that is gone. Some terrible noise was there, construction noise. Now I had Ashanti, now that is gone. I have Shanti. No, that is all relative Shanti. What does the Upanishad deal with? Absolute Shanti. And so that absolute Shanti becomes the Sahacharini of the yogi. The constant companion of this yogi is Shanti. And then the person remains like what? Atma Rama, the one who, the word Rama, of course, has a Rudhi Artha. Rudhi means regular meaning. What is that? Lord Rama. It also has a Vyutpatti Artha, grammatical meaning, etymological meaning, Vyutpatti. What is the etymological meaning? Ramante Asmin Yoginaha. That in which the yogis revel. When? Constantly. So what you see, you can't revel in something that is a cause for sorrow. Can you revel in a sad thing? No. Revelry has to be with something happy. Only in a happy thing you can revel. You can't revel in a sad thing. And so therefore here what? The revelry is all happiness. And so that is Rama, Ramante Yasmin, from Ram Dhatu. Don't say it is R-U-M, okay? No, this is Sanskritam Ram, okay? Ram, Ramante, Yasmin, Yoginaha. That in which the only thing that which the yogis revel, which is the Atma. So the Atma, cha asau, Ramascha. So Atma Ramaha, Virajate, or whatever, what was the last one? Yeah, Virajate. Virajate means shines as the truth of oneself. And in 4 lines, you know what we have to look forward to in the next class? In the 4 lines, he has given the whole Ramayana. Whole Ramayana is given in 4 lines. We will see that when? 11 o'clock. 11:15 we will have today, so that we can just have a little elbow room. You see, so how easily we could happily do the classes. So today is what day? Tuesday, Thursday, and if necessary Friday. We will meet at 11:15 also, in addition to 8:15. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Hari